888-275-5270.
I'm through with standing in line. The clubs I'll never get in. It's like the bottom of the ninth, and I'm never gonna win.
The ball is down. Moody has it away. He has plenty of distance, and Jake Moody has nailed a 55-yard field goal in the Super Bowl.
And absolutely split the upright.
Baseball and a king-size tub big enough for 10 plus me.
First and 10 Niners at the 30-yard line. Stretch run to McCaffrey. Stays play side. Fumble the ball. Ball is out. Karlaftis dove on the ball.
I think Karlaftis has it.
I club at 37,000 feet.
I'm hearing neighbor. It's neighbor.
That's what I said. Neighbor.
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 Somewhere between Cher and James Dean is fine for me.
Second and 10 Niners up 3-0. Purdy going to throw a double pass. Back to Juwan Jennings. A throwback across the field to McCaffrey. He's got it. 20, 10, 5. Touchdown! San Francisco!
Cheap. Well, I'll stay skinny because we just won't eat and we'll hang out in the coolest spot.
Mahomes, Prosser, Kelsey, 30-yard line, 25. Kelsey at the 20, 15 and out of bounds at the San Francisco 10-yard line. A 23-yard pickup with 9 seconds to go in the game.
Hey, I want to be a rock star. Hey, I want to be a rock star.
He is 5 of 5 on career postseason field goals when tied or trailing by 3. This will be a 29-yarder to tie Super Bowl 58. On the grass, no wind, we're inside. Butker, the snap is good, the kick is up, the kick is perfect, and we are tied. We are tied with 3 seconds left in Super Bowl 58. 19-19.
I'm gonna trade this life for fortune and fame.
Jake Moody will try a 27-yarder to take a lead in overtime. Good snap, ball put down, right-footed kick is away, and good. And the San Francisco 49ers have driven downfield and kicked a field goal of 27 yards to take an overtime lead of 22-19 and 7:22 to go in OT. And of course, that score does not end it. The Chiefs will get a possession. Lining up in the clock at 10 seconds and ticking. In the shotgun, Mahomes. 4-man front, receiver in motion, low snap. He runs and he throws, caught, touchdown. It's caught. Hardman caught the ball. The Chiefs have won. The Chiefs have won. Their 3rd Super Bowl in 5 years.
It's a great win. It's because I know how hard it is to do, and then how hard the season was, the ups and downs of the season.
Well, we all just wanna be big rock stars and live in hilltop houses, driving 15 cars.
Yeah, I mean, I hope people remember not only the greatness that we have on the field, but the way that we've done it. I mean, I feel like we enjoy it every single day. We have fun. We play hard. And it's not always pretty, but we just continue to fight to the very end.
Movie stars, every good gold digger's gonna wind up there. Every playboy bunny with a bleach pot.
Now what?
Neighbor.
Yeah, neighbor. Just like it's written on the paper.
They'll get you anything with that evil smile. Everybody's got a dealer on.
It is a Monday edition. It's the Monday after Super Bowl Sunday. And to tell you the truth, I don't even know how many people went to work today. Judging by the numbers, they're called. Maybe you're just getting to work today. Good to have you on board Jack Michaels Show. Derek Hansen in the studio. It is the Monday after Super Bowl Sunday. And that's not a lie. Just averages will say, and there's a lot of people, and maybe then, my guess is in Clark County, in Nevada, there's probably a lot of people, and then wherever else those planes were flying out to. Could you imagine having an early morning flight today after that game yesterday? That seemed like the 3rd or 4th quarter alone took about 5 hours to play. So good Monday to you, and obviously we'll lay it all out today on the show and get your thoughts and whatnot. But company from our Gunderson Jewelers Studios, the Chiefs are the Super Bowl champions, so it's back-to-back, 3 of 5 now. And Derek, an interesting thing. So I'm at the hotel. I'm in Kansas City this weekend calling a basketball game in Missouri side. And at the hotel, got a lovely lady. She's worked there now a few years. Young lady, and just a lady. Great. And born and raised in Kansas City. And we were chatting. And then I said, she goes, man, there's just a lot of new Chiefs fans I've noticed over the years. And I said, yeah, unless you win tomorrow, which meant, I said, unless you win tomorrow, I think you're going to start tiptoeing into being the villains. And she said, she's like, do you think? I said, nah. Because even with the love of trailers, I say, I said, you got to understand, people only like you so long when you win, and then you become the villain. So Derek, are the Chiefs tiptoeing into not saying it's wrong. I don't even know if there's a bad case. Are they tiptoeing into villain status?
They're not tiptoeing. They're
in it. All right, yes.
They've been there for a little while. I think most people are pulling for the Ravens and Lions. So
yeah.
just because these two organizations are an embarrassment of riches. Like, I don't feel sorry for the 49er fan that's our age, because you've had a pretty good run here. You know what I mean? You've had 8 Super Bowls. You won 5 of them. That's not too bad.
You've had your trophy case is just fine.
The Chief fans out there, you now have 4 out of 5. That's not a bad little. I mean, I think that's where we're sitting. So they're there, and that's not a bad thing, I don't think, for the NFL. I think, love them or hate them.
You need them.
That's what you got. I mean, the Patriots, I don't think, hurt the NFL at all. And looking by the numbers, the TV numbers, the interest in it, I don't think that the Tom Brady-led dynasty, and yes, we are going to call the Chiefs now a dynasty.
Yep.
I don't think it hurts the league whatsoever. It's just, can someone else knock them off now? And that's going to be the question.
I'm listening to our at the top of hours, you hear the, sometimes it's Boomer Esiason, others you hear these little sports vignettes. They're like 10, 15 seconds worth of a quick, they're quick hits, in the business. We have fan hits that are about a minute long. You get some of these quick hits that are national. And twice now I've heard, and it's probably similar, probably the same copy. There's different people going. But twice I've heard the angle of that. Normally when the Chiefs won, we were gaga, all of that over the offense. And we were. And so those little vignettes now were saying that because the defense is the one that really kind of held down and kept that game where it was so Patrick Mahomes could be the hero again down the stretch. And then that little vignette said, how do you beat Kansas City? And it's a valid.
You don't make mistakes, for one thing. Especially on special teams.
You don't fumble the ball in the red zone, or at least near it. You don't muff a punt or have yeah, exactly right. You don't muff a punt. You're giving up a chunk of yards and a possession, by the way, when that happens. So San Francisco, like many teams, your margin for error, even if you're a great team, when you're playing a great team, your margin for error is still small. When you're not a great team and playing a great team, your margin for error is even smaller. So, yeah, Derek, you're right. Could San Fran have finished that game? And I want you to grade out the bowl today. You can use the text club to do that, 35270. If you're you're going to grade out the Super Bowl. You're going to grade out the game, A, B, C, D, F. And then put a reason why, by the way, if you throw an F down there. I get it that just because it was an overtime tight game, it took forever, it must be a great game. Technically, it was close. So there were some moments, but as far as clean and things of that nature, there are other.
It was pretty ugly up until the 2-minute warning in the fourth quarter.
So grade the game out and why, A, B, C, D, F. Halftime show, by all means. It's something we do this every year, the day of the Super Bowl. Text into 35270. Grade out the halftime show. And that's a scary question because what I like, Derek, might not. We may gel in music and shows for a little bit, and then maybe we'll divert into someplace, I'm not really, I don't know. That is as subjective as you get, but grade the halftime show out. And I'm just saying, in no regard, I'm not saying in terms of, display, lights, showmanship, dancing, entertainment. Grade it out. A, B, C, D, F. I
think for people like us, though, who grew up liking a nice electric guitar, a rhythm guitar, or a bass guitar, drums,
little piano.
It just
on the
is not going to really hit us. So I think for us, I go into every halftime show knowing they are not making this for us.
Yeah, right.
And that's my attitude on it. I think it's unfortunate because I think that they are making the fans of the football fan roll our eyes, but it's not for us. It's for people in the office here like raving about it. I just kind of said, really? You thought it was okay?
There's
okay.
a lot of, and you're going to find Mary J. Blige on probably every CD. I like to make CDs because I'm, again, stuck in the 80s. So it used to be I like to make cassettes, like multiple. You're going to find my made CDs that I use.
You still make CDs?
I still make CDs, yeah. I just made one like a month ago, a new traveling CD.
Okay.
It's all 15 cuts of different songs. I still do. And then
you want me to show you how you can do this on your Android for much easier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then what do you do with that? Plug it into the Bluetooth of the car? Is that how people do it?
Yes.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
I have a CD player that I have full use of, and it's fantastic. And I labeled the CD like Fall of 19, soft with a little kick. I label them generically.
You can do that in your music library, too, on your phone.
I'll be darned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I have Blige. So you'll find my CDs. It'll be Mary J. Blige. You'll have, like Cinderella. Casting Crowns.
Interesting.
Eminem. Pat Green. Maybe a Wave on Wave. So mine are. I like to think I could pretty much house anything. So Usher, talent. Moved well, dance, keys. Big fan. Piano. Let's go.
Very talented. People,
very
yes.
talented. I mean, you go into that. So, but again, I wasn't doing cartwheels. I'm like, it's good. So you can grade out the halftime show. Grade out the commentary if you watched it.
I gotta say,
Nance and Romo, you grade out if you listen to it in Kevin, but I know that's going to be an A.
Kevin Harlan's an A for sure. I think Kurt Warner does a good job.
Ken Warner is great too.
Yeah, but I got to say, I've been very critical of Romo this year. I thought he stepped up his game in the Super Bowl last night. I thought he kind of got back to the basics of explaining the game to us simpletons and made it entertaining. I thought he was back to what made him what he was the first couple of years. Do you agree with me?
I agree. I agree in the fact that in the one point that stood with Romo, yeah, he got back into the cerebral parts of breaking it down. And again,
to the layman's person.
Yep. And again, he was talking about east-west as opposed to north-south pocket versus outside pocket. You got to keep him, talk about Mahomes, contained out there. And when he's running out, you don't let him step forward and go. You keep him moving that way. And, and then as he was breaking that down, and then going into the diagrams of, look, it shows like a single high safety over here, but it really turns in more to a cover two, which leaves this pocket open. And here's a great throw by, So, he was going through all of that. I agree with you. I think Tony had, he's humming a tune into the break. I get it, but that's the fun part of Tony Romo.
Right.
You're not going to be gold, and there's appreciation for Nance. Nance is a wordsmith, so pretty cool. I'm sure he's getting handed stuff, obviously, too, but, the Mahomes goes for 333 yards, and Nance real quick, which is coincidental because this stadium is located on 333, 33rd, and he gives an address to the station. Nance you don't get to be Jim Nance's spot without understanding.
I think Harlan's better, but
but
Nance is good.
And TV, radio, but Kevin, of course, spans both.
Oh, 100%.
But you're right. That's so. I think the broadcast and or telecast, you could grade that out: A, B, C, D, and F, and go for there. I think I don't know what. And the one thing that you take, my final one today. For the text club, if you're grading the game, the halftime, and so on and so forth, what do you leave Super Bowl 58 with? What's going to be if you had to pick one lasting memory of Super Bowl 58, when 5 years from now, Derek, you and I, if we're still doing radio, hope we are doing air, and we say, remember Super Bowl 58, the Niners and the Chiefs? Boom. What's that next thing that you pull out of that? And if it's Taylor Swift's cutaways, it's Taylor Swift cutaway into the crowd. I get it. But as far as your one takeaway from the Super Bowl would be what? Well, that would be a question today.
For me, it was, as someone who watches a lot of football, and I would say 90% of the country not exactly knowing what the new overtime rules were.
I Google this every time when OT hits because the changes even the NCAA or the NFL.
Because when time was ticking, I'm thinking, do they have to score here before we go to zeros?
I heard you say this morning, and I'm like, I'm so with you, Derek. But like right when overtime hit, I was really going, oh yeah, okay, that's it. So if one team still has the ball and hasn't
but if we were going to be
possessed it,
critical of them not explaining it very well to us,
you shouldn't have to Google or search.
And I'm because I wonder if Jim and Tony really knew, and they went to the rules guy that they have,
right?
And I'm thinking, boy, they don't seem to be in a hurry here.
And your referee, your white hat, they're
Bill Vinovich.
Bill Vinovich, veteran crew.
His last game, I think he's
veteran.
He's retiring after the.
You're right, I think.
Yep.
Veteran crew, but even him, the logo is heads, and the Lombardi Trophy is tail. Going to each team will have a chance to possess the ball, and then even if you kick him, even on his explanation, because so used to those rules. But now in the overtime in a Super Bowl is a little bit different, or postseason in general, obviously, shades a little bit different than the regular season overtime, because you have to have a winner.
Right.
You got to have a victor. Can't just call it a tie. So, yeah. But you're right, when that clock's winding down. But again, back to your Romo point. He comes in, Tony, to make the point, goes, by the way, for those of you, and I'm sure there are a lot of you, that are worried about why aren't they calling a timeout and the seconds are ticking out. This is why. Treat it like a quarter. This would be the first quarter, and it would blend in second. So, again, to your Romo point,
he got it in there.
I think I'd grade it out pretty high.
Yeah, for sure. But it sounds like many of the 49ers did not know. So that is a story within itself that Kyle Shanahan and his staff did not relay this because the 49ers were a little confused. And I do think that the 49ers maybe should have called a timeout to kind of get their bearings once it got to be first and goal from what it was at the 6 or whatever.
Yep.
Because they were a little bit on their heels, and I think they need to make everyone understand what was going on there. And so that's what I took away from that as much as anything else. And furthermore, we have to get out of our mindset, and here's where Shanahan screwed up. Knowing that the overtime rules are what they are, if he knew what they were, you need to kick the ball off to start the overtime.
Look at the page I'm holding up on my next thing. The headline says, Niners made a mistake taking the ball to start overtime? Question mark. That was
because you've called a few college overtimes in your day.
Yeah.
And you start at the 25, right? And you always start on defense first, so your offense.
So you know what you got.
And here's where Romo is good. The reason you do this is because you get that extra down knowing what you need to get. And that's where the 49ers screwed up because if their defense gets out there, let's say that the Chiefs go down and score a touchdown, well, then you go and you know that you have to get a touchdown to win the game and maybe go for the Super Bowl win on the 2-point conversion.
It's a good debate, and you're right. It's a good debate because I, too, would have said, okay, well, we'll let them. They can get the ball. They go first. And, our defense come out, and all of a sudden, if you need 3, there's a domino effect on all of it because your play calling and everything.
But is it a debate anymore, Jack?
Well, the other side of that is, where you are. You're at the end of a game and a start of almost noon. You've had a lot of guys that have played a lot of minutes.
Oh yeah,
a lot of plays. So if you're confident that you've worn down some of that defense, that through the course of this game that you figured some things out, that you're going to be able to march down the field and put points on the board, 6 + 1. And know that your defense has been sitting there resting that whole time, and now they go on the field to defend, and your confidence is in that. You see what I'm getting here, Derek? And then you can
No, you kick the ball every time. You want to play defense first.
No, and I'm with you on that. I don't disagree. I'm just saying that might be the argument on the other side. Let's set the tempo, dictate the will, go down, put 7 up, come back and defend because we're going to be fresh and we figured some things out. We'll stop them. We'll force them into 3rd and long or 4th down conversion makes on this drive. They're not going to make it. We're going to defend them. Now, granted, I don't agree with that.
No,
I agree with the
I don't
former.
think there's an argument the other side. I think you need to start on defense every time in this new postseason overtime rule. Yep. I think in regular season it's a totally different thing because we're still sitting at if the touchdown scores – you win, right? If you're you're still at that older rule.
Coin flips have determined games, literally almost
100%. I mean, we go back to doesn't seem like all that long ago. I guess it was over 15 years ago now, but Ben Lieber pass interference, that was true sudden death, and that's how we got the rule changed to, the touchdown is the one. And now we're to the Chiefs-Bills rule where Josh Allen didn't get a chance to get the ball, so
this is
why we have this new rule.
Empty feeling is what that one was. Yeah. So no, and I'm with you on that too. I'm like, ooh, okay. Well, they're going to do it. They're going to do it that way. 35270 is the text. I got a call coming in. We'll take that quick. We'll break. Doc Phil will join the round table here. D.
Yeah, we got a couple of texts here. If neither team scores, doesn't the next possession become sudden death? Wouldn't the 49ers want to have the ball third? Yeah, probably, but you don't think you go into it looking that way, do you? Where you think that you're not going to score or some way, somehow? I mean, I don't. I think that you want to have your defense out first. I really do.
Yeah, and I'm saying, where are you at that time? The sudden death is postseason a bit different. Once it gets into, and I want to make sure I was writing it all down. The same rule by the end of the second and fourth regulation periods also apply at the end of the second or fourth overtime period. So as it pertains, if there is no winner at the end of a fourth overtime period, another coin toss and play will continue until a winner is declared.
Oh my! Could you imagine?
Could you imagine 4?
No. I just think my first image is Kellen Winslow getting dragged off the field at the Orange Bowl.
Right, just with bloody tape on his arm and around someone else's arms. 237-3767, get you in, 888-458-6926. I see full lines. Where do you want to go to first here, Derek? And I imagine one of them might be Doc on one of them.
Yeah.
We'll break in.
Doc, quick. Let's go to Paul quickly. What you got, Paul?
Hello, Derek. Happy Monday. By the way, that was a good game for the Chiefs. Plus, I have the Timberwolves prediction tonight.
Okay, what do you have there?
Timberwolves are going to beat the LA Clippers 119 to 85.
Boy, he's got the defense going.
Yeah, I tell you, the blowouts are still there.
And the Wild I'm sure beat Vegas tonight.
11-0.
11. No, that's good. Paul, good to hear your voice.
I'll see you tomorrow at 11.
All right, sounds good.
There you go. It's Paul and the Jack Michael Show, weekdays at noon. Paul usually gets our Friday Paul call.
Been working Fridays lately.
Yeah, so now we got a Monday Paul call on that. And then my guess is we're going to 3.
Let's go to Brad quickly.
Brad, all right. Hey, Brad, welcome to the show.
Yeah, real quick here. Maybe this is why Danny Freund went to South Dakota State University. Per Sioux Sports, Chavis gives Bubba a 3-year extension. And also, how long before the Fighting Sioux football team gets put in the trash heap of history, like St. Cloud and Crookston, and right into the trash heap? How long is Fighting Sioux football on life support?
Doctor?
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 What's up, Doc?
740 The Fan, KNFL, Jack Michael Show, Derek Hansen in studio today after a busy. Let me ask you, I felt a little Red hockey there coming back because we bussed to and from Omaha, KC being the last one. And it was one of the buses, it's a sleeper bus, except for those of us in front. And the seats don't fit my bottom. So to Doc Phil, maybe I should go see Doc Phil about the how do you fix a lower lumbar after twisting and sleeping for 12 hours? Back when I was at 20, riding those buses as a player, no problem. Now that you're not 20 anymore, that's a whole different deal. Doc, how was your Super Bowl? Did you take it all in? Fondue and piñatas and food, or what was the scene like, Doc?
The scene for me was I was in the beautiful city of Ann Arbor, Michigan. I actually have just returned and just got off the plane.
Well, so that was
it was a father-daughter weekend.
Nice.
My daughter's there finishing up her research, and then she's moving back to this area. I can't tell you why yet. She wants to make that announcement. But she'll be up at Grand Forks for a few years.
Fantastic. She's a lovely young lady, by the way. Yeah, very.
So we took in a few sporting events. We took in the Michigan State hockey game, which was very good at Yost Arena on Friday night. And then we watched the Michigan Wolverine ladies pound Rutgers into submission in basketball. And one of her good friends plays on the team, so then we went out to dinner with them after. And that was fun.
Ah, sweet. That was it. I'll tell you, we're getting to the game and all that, including how you can injure a hamstring by running onto a field, which I think impacted Derek. You got to agree with that. Greenlaw going down.
Oh my heavens!
Greg Greenlaw.
Whoa! Oh, I don't think that was his hamstring, Jack. I think he blew his Achilles.
Yeah, he blew his Achilles.
Did
out.
I say hamstring? I meant Achilles. Yeah, Achilles.
Yeah, but the other guy did pull his hamstring.
Yeah, Debo had the hammy.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah, so just running it.
Yeah, you could see that. I mean, everybody probably knew that after all the Achilles injuries we've gone through this year. When he ran out of the field and it just like, boom, you could just see it.
The Achilles has become the new, even though ACLs are going out there, but like the Achilles has become the new ACL of sports now, it seems. Not.
Well, yes and no, because it's happening to elite level athletes, so it's becoming a little more publicized. But like we talked about, it's a very common injury in middle age. I mean, we see it not infrequently. Racquetball players, guys that are playing noon basketball, all those things, doing all the things they probably shouldn't at, 38, 40 years of age and trying to be 20 again. It's not an uncommon injury. And like we talked about, there's several different ways to treat it. You can surgically repair it, and there's complications that can happen with that. You can treat it without surgery, and they actually do pretty well with that in select groups. But it's a more common injury than you would think.
We got back late Saturday into Sunday morning, so the Sundays for a lot of people, I don't know what yours was like, guys, but so you're trying to recapture some rest and then going to the door. But it was great. My family, my siblings and I, we do a lot of group texting to stay, keep up to date on this game, this sport. My sister coaches basketball, so we keep up on her. My brother's down in Texas. His son's so there's always a lot of group texting going on. And I said, hey, today, I think one of my siblings said, hey, Nebraska and Iowa. I said, that's right. You can catch Logan Nisley today. Big game against Iowa. Caitlin Clark. And, for those that have been around Logan in Century High, she's just been a special athlete, as a lot of our youth are in our neighborhood. But, 3-year Gatorade, and Logan carries herself so well. My text to my sibs said, for those of you that don't know Logan, I said, she's so poised. This environment, this stage is not going to faze her one iota. And I'm sure if Brad's coming back, if Pops is on his way back tuning in, good to have you in. And it didn't. And you're right, Derek. I mean, you look at out there and you're watching Caitlin Clark, who has transcended like the name in basketball and everything we talk about. And she's guarding Logan, who a year ago was taking classes at Century High School in Bismarck, North Dakota. And Logan had 15 points and 7 boards yesterday. And the Huskers picked off number 2 Iowa. Jazz Shelley's a good ball player too from Australia, but that's kind of how I started my even sports yesterday, Doc and Derek, is taking a Big Ten, and then at 3:00 I was texting out because Lauren Ware now plays for Texas A&M, another Century kid. She was playing Kentucky, so I'm like, oh, good, I got to watch Logan at like noon or 1, watch Lauren at 3, and the Super Bowl at 5:30. So, Doc, I had a pretty good, not a bad sports day either yesterday. I'm just taking it all.
No, not at all. I mean, the Super Bowl I thought was going to be a bust after the first half, but then they kind of lit the fire a little bit and started playing a little better football the second half. And,
I thought it was just like watching the Big Ten West is all. That's all.
That's right. That's right.
Some respects, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
But, they complained about Patrick Mahomes being paid too much. I don't think so.
No, it's a bargain.
The guy's magical, and he's just magical.
$500 million. I saw one of the talking heads afterwards going, yeah, $500 million. I think he's probably underpaid for what he means to that city.
Well, he's put himself in that stratosphere now, right? Brady Manning, Elway, Montana, he's there now. 3 Super Bowl wins already.
He had 3 MVPs, right?
Yep.
3 MVPs. Joe Montana's done it, and Brady's done it 5 times. So, yeah, he's there. And I thought it was interesting, one of the talking heads asked him right after, is this a dynasty? And he goes, nope, not yet. We still got room to go. I went, wow, good for him.
I was reading Doc and Derek, and part of them was the overtime that Derek and I just talked about. Would you have taken the ball, or would you kicked? Start the overtime. So Derek, I think you and I are in the like probably many people's that I would have kicked that thing first and then see what you got to meet. Here are some other ones. To your point, Doc, I'll give you I was reading, I forget the article where it was from, but it says Mahomes will end up winning more Super Bowls than Tom Brady. Now, if you don't know the number, Brady has won 7. Last one when he was 43 years old, won 6 with New England. Mahomes is 28 and has won 3. So, your thoughts, Guy? Mahomes will end up winning more Super Bowls than Tom Brady. Do you think that's getting a little too giddy, or do you think that is a possibility?
I think that's possible. I mean, after these things, it's always determinant what team do you have left. There will be changes, but sometimes those changes are good, as well. But I think he has the opportunity to do that, and it certainly is possible. Let's face it, the kid knows how to win. He wins the big games. He's a winner. He'll figure it out. They probably didn't have as strong a team this year as they've had in the last couple. So, no, I think that's a strong possibility. I mean, let's keep him healthy. That's the biggest thing that you got to worry about. But I can't remember him running that much during a game like he did yesterday. Oh, my God. I mean, there were a couple, 20, 30-yarders that he broke off.
The genius of was that a 4th down play, 4th and 1? And
I think so.
He goes into the gun, and the genius of Andy Reid going, and Romo brought this out too. He goes, there's no way he's handed that ball off. What does he do? No. I'm going to leave you the option, Patrick, and then just in case, you got Kelsey kind of leaking, but I'm leaving the ball in the hands of, that's like efficient run calls, whether by design or necessity, brilliant. But yes, has been reduced. I'm with you, Doc. Yeah.
And I don't think I don't think he will surpass Brady, but I'm not going to say he can't. But for that very reason, I just don't think, unless something really changes, he needs that in his repertoire to win it. And I don't think at 35 years old you're going to be able to do what he did yesterday with an RPO play in a key situation. Where Tom Brady was I think Tom Brady's the last of the 7-step quick release drop back passer guys that can be that successful. And I may be wrong. I may
6 with the Pats, 1 with Tampa. That's right.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't know that you can say that that's necessarily true. I mean, guys will change their game to fit their body and what they're doing. And we've all seen how he can change the delivery angle so many different ways. I mean, heck, he throws it left-handed a couple
You're
times.
right. Mechanically speaking, you're right. He looks like he's adaptable to a lot of different pressures and or situations.
He throws a sidearm, almost underhand. Whatever he needs to do to get it through that area into that opening, he can do it. It's just phenomenal.
Second one.
Body will up.
Second one that I was reading today, Andy Reid will end up winning more Super Bowls than Bill Belichick. Now, if you need the numbers, Belichick at 6, Reid is 3. Andy Reid will end up winning more Super Bowls than Bill Belichick. We going on that, or is that?
I don't know about that one.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
A little deeper.
I would say it's possible.
Okay, I think that's a tough call. But if you say that Patrick will reach, Tom, that's a kind of an individual within a team. If you're saying Reid will reach Belichick
at his age,
yeah, right. So that's a little bit more of a stretch.
Yeah.
And if he has any more run-ins with Travis Kelce, he might fall down.
That's true too.
I've been asked so much about that today. There was like a polarizing question. My thought on that was it doesn't look great. We got cameras everywhere, and he's full of testosterone and ego, and I want the ball, but he's also a team guy, and he's all built up and all that, and then he gets close to. Yeah, does it look good? No,
not
at all. Does Reid probably understand it, and did Andy Reid handle that pretty well? Yeah, but it didn't look good. It just didn't look good, Doc.
It didn't, but you know what? You kind of want that from your top players. I want the ball. I want to go. Let's go. I didn't have a big problem with it, other than I was feeling for Andy. I hope he didn't knock him over.
It's like
senior citizen we got here. What are you doing?
Right. Exactly.
Which
elder abuse or something.
Which NFL coach do you believe, past or present, had that happen to him, we would have seen a far different reaction? Does any coach come to mind? Is anybody doing that to Bud Grant back in the day?
No.
Anybody doing that?
Or Tom Landry?
Tom Landry. You think anybody's running up to Tom and knocking him off his suit?
I think what's going to get him out of it was the fact that he's the longest tenured player there. I think that's probably what helps him out in that situation.
I think what gets him out of it is that if you've seen the caption, what he's saying is, listen, we got to win this game, or Taylor's going to write a song about it how we lost.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Little on that. Did you see that against Vince? You see Lombardi getting banged by his. I mean, like I said, the reaction for Reed, good for him because he could have made that. He could have.
And in answer to your caller's question before we started.
Oh yeah.
The fighting Hawks, the Fighting Sioux are alive and well. It's just there's a lot of things going on at the University of North Dakota sport-wise, and so they're there. They're very competitive. They always will be. That's how it's going to be, and not to worry.
Yeah, I told Derek.
They win it all the time.
Some people get up, and I get it. You want national titles. So do they. You want to compete every year. You want to get past one round of the playoffs. So do they. You're trying to recruit battles to go, and you have coaches changes. Sometimes coaches move. Sometimes they take other gigs, so things change. But you know what? You bring in, you fill in with that, and you continue to push forward. And that comment stirs me. I just think of I see what student athletes do in the gym. I see the time spent, all of that, and it really cuts into that, and that's a cheap shot thing to say to any.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think, and look outside your bubble a little bit. I mean, we had Chip Kelly just leave UCLA to go to an offensive coordinator spot at Ohio State. There's no rhyme or reason for anything going on in college football right now. So to lose your mind about a couple of offensive coordinators moving around to better their family or whatever it might be, you can't lose your head over it because it is right now the most moving target of moving targets. So get outside your bubble and look at what's going on. You can't make rhyme or reason of anything right now.
No, and I think, as the NIL progresses and things happen, it's changing the landscape. We're seeing that already. So, no, UND is a competitive team. They always have been. They will be. And eventually the ball's going to bounce their way. They've had a couple bad breaks, and that happens. But to say that you need to can the program, obviously the guy is not informed well.
The other two I had in the sheet, back to the Super Bowl, Chiefs defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo deserves another shot to be a head coach.
Yeah,
pretty quick response there. Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, at the expense of losing a good coach to the Chiefs. Yes, as a Chiefs fan, but he deserves a shot.
Boy, can he dial it up when they need to, and at the right time.
Oh, I know.
And he makes the adjustments that he makes. I mean that's the thing that's really impressive. That those adjustments he'll make at halftime or on the fly, just go, wow.
That was good because look at the Chiefs in the second half. But Patrick threw a pick, right, and then they also had another empty possession, and so that defense had to really rise up to put him in the spot for the offense to be a hero. And last one, Shanahan will never win the big one. Here's our reactions, from that. It was Shanahan's second Super Bowl as a head coach. He's had a double-digit lead on the Chiefs both times. By the way, the 3 Super Bowls, Kansas City has been down double digits in all of them.
And that's something.
Yeah, put that in your pocket. But Shanahan there, he also, to some extent, the most brutal Super Bowl collapse of all time. He was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons, a team that blew a 28-3 lead to the Patriots. So, of course, part of this article was, the reactions / overreactions. Shanahan will never win the big one. I have trouble using the word never.
I do too. Yeah. I was just going to say that. That's a very hard word for me in sport to say because there's so many variables that happen. And he's obviously there. He's a good coach. Yeah. He's a great coach. The only thing he's missing is a Super Bowl. And more likely than not, if he can keep that team together or maybe add a few pieces, they'll be back and he will win. I think he will win one.
They're in the discussion so often. It's and you're right, Doc. Yeah. You're there. So when you get to the big game and you get to the Super Bowl, And, they won the toss. They deferred. He didn't fumble the ball inside the 30. Didn't keep that ball high.
Right.
He didn't have a ball go off his leg on a punt.
Which I think is the big factor in that game.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Should they have run more? Should they have been more diligent towards a rushing attack during times of that? Now we're really slicing into the X's and the O's, I suppose. But yeah, I don't.
I think the biggest thing is George Karl Malone, Gary Payton, John Stockton, Charles Barkley. Who do they all bleep when they say I never won a championship? Michael Jordan. And I think I was listening to the radio on the post game, and that's kind of what we're talking about. Kevin Harlan and Kurt Warner brought up. You're kind of sitting there with the Michael Jordan of football right now, and he's the one that's stymieing Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and all these guys from winning a championship right now.
It's a great point. It's like Region 1.
Yeah.
Like Bishop Ryan girls when they ran 3 straight tournaments going. You have maybe a kid going, did you guys ever win a state? No. Why? Because Bishop Ryan was loaded for like three years of my high school career, or Kindred, or whatever.
Well,
like
that's
Kindred and Central Cass.
Right.
It's like we talked about with Isaac Frichte. It's Caledonia for me. I mean,
Caledonia. Did you ever win it? No.
There you go.
No, we didn't.
Frazee Wrestling winning the 8A team title forever when I was in high school. All the way up to the it's just
we were there. But we just didn't win it.
Mm-hmm.
We got there, but we just didn't win it on that. Over the weekend, UND hockey was off, and now they got Colorado College this week, so that's going on.
Who was also off, so that's going to be a really interesting series in Colorado Springs this weekend.
Man.
Colorado College is a very good team, and they're coached by a very good coach, Chris Mayotte. And that's going to be a real good series. I hope that's on TV.
Yeah, it's going to be on 790 KFGO.
But I mean,
Tim Hennessy when I'm listening.
I want to watch it and put the radio on as the voice.
I do that too, by the way. I like that too. Yeah, I do it to a point where I don't even care if if one's ahead or behind. I still do that. On that. Well, it's so the Super Bowl is come and gone. Derek and I had Garrett Mogg on last week, and I know Zach Johnson. There's some FCS guys on. We talked the United Football League doc, which is a combo platter. XFL, UFL, they got together.
I think that's going to be a good thing, actually.
Yeah.
I think the other way was too watered down. Now that they combined, I think that's a good thing. And I think and it's fun to watch that because you're going to see some of those players get an opportunity for the NFL next fall.
Yeah, I thought Garrett was great hearing from him because in his spot as a wideout, you're judged a lot on film, and he's now been into camps. These guys that play the offense, he's been into camps and he's trying to put stuff on film. And then we were talking, I think, about if you're not targeted, you almost got to be selfish because you don't have to be Travis Kelce and come bump your coach saying tell him to throw me the ball, but they need to put on tape. But they also watch the route running and staying healthy on that. I just love any league like this because those diamonds are anywhere. They could be in the CFL, be in the UFL. It might take one player. Who was the Cobber?
Zach Vra?
Yeah, not too long ago.
Yeah,
not too long ago.
played Carolina.
Tim Vra?
Nah.
Zach Vra?
Oh,
not Zach Vra.
No. Just had Gunner in the car, too, and he would have
See,
known.
your son-in-law wouldn't. You know what I'm getting at here, Derek, and Doc's got the name. And why is this just
I'll find out for you for next week. Or somebody will call in.
Oh, yeah, my phone's going to blow up here in a second.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to have to. Anyway, so how's your week, Doc? See, leave it to me. I brought that.
Well,
I don't know why that name is escaping me.
I was just going to sign off because I have to go see my final 6 patients of my career. These are the final 6. I call them the final 6.
The final 6.
And just a final checkup on them and make sure they're doing okay. And
2 knees, an ankle, and an ulnar?
No ankle, no ulnar. I think they're all knees and 1 shoulder.
Oh. Yeah. Boy, what a relationship that you've had with all your clients. Brandon Zylstra, thank you, BA.
Zylstra.
Brandon Zylstra.
There we
thank
go.
you. Oof.
Yep.
Oh. If I hadn't have got that Zeg nut I'm going to get from the vending machine.
And now I'm mad at myself because I interviewed him when I was down there, too.
That's why I kind of deferred to you right away. Going, you're pretty Yeah.
ZVs. I was getting them all mixed
Yeah.
up there. Yeah,
I like the bra call, though.
Yeah, I was just going blank there.
Well,
sorry.
Doc, that's is there when you step down from your practice, is there a parting gift you give to some of your I wouldn't say loyal clients because I can't wait to get injured again so Doc can work on me.
For the very last surgery that I did, we gave them a lighted keychain that was the shape of a bone.
Look at that.
A little trinket.
There you go.
That's fantastic. That's great. Yeah. Well, we'll enjoy that, Doc, and as always, we appreciate you having you on the round table. So,
I'm always happy to join the round table, and we'll do it next week.
That sounds good. To the daughter, it's good news. I'll wait for the big news to see what's up with her. So,
yeah, I'll be happy to tell that.
Good stuff. All right, thanks, Doc. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys, have a good week.
Dr. Phil jumping in that round table, orthopedic surgeon for many years. Yeah, Brandon Zylstra. It's a great call. Thank you, B. We'll come back. We'll put a cap on it, kind of set the scene of a busy week. You know what? We got District B girls, region qualifiers and championships going on in 1, 2, 3, 4, and across the region. So kind of a large day today at various gyms, whether you're at North Dakota State College of Science or at Jamestown Civic Center, you name it. More next on 740 The Fan. What's Taylor Swift worth financially? Is she at B's?
She's in the bills, yeah.
She's in the B's?
Yep.
Like $1 bill, $2 bill. I saw Kelsey before the Grammys story out there bought Taylor $9,000 in jewelry and $2,000 in white roses before the Grammys, right? So $11,000. And do you think Taylor's like, well, it's the thought that counts. That'd be like the equivalent of us growing up when I used to go down to Service Drug in Williston and buy my sweetheart a Black Hills Gold thing that was probably about $30 and go, well, it's a thought that
we got an ad coming up for Great Harvest Bread.
Yeah.
The equivalent of me buying you a heart-shaped loaf of bread for Valentine's Day Wednesday.
Do you think Taylor looks at a $9,000 jewelry and goes,
yeah,
it's nice, man. It's a thought take. Even the 9,000 to you and me is like, holy cow.
So they tip their valets.
Here's $9,000. Might want to hold on to that one. That's a Ferrari. That's $100,000. Here you go.
To think that she's worth so much more than him, and he's not exactly living check to check unless he's irresponsible, right?
He's not 2 weeks making sure that check clears into the bank going on. I don't even think we're envious of it. It is what it is. I don't know how many cutaways there were of, or shots, panning.
I think it was
shots.
the under of 25. That's kind of what I expected,
Yeah.
but Travis wasn't getting the ball a lot early
true.
on.
That's true. And we've got that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at. I told we should have done fake headlines, but sound like they could have happened day to day. Maybe next year. Maybe next year at the Super Bowl, Derek, we could do that. Like I thought, Kelsey Swift marry at Little White Chapel at 3 a.m. Do you think? Well, maybe. Probably wouldn't have bought it. Various things of that. Uber. Those Uber drivers and Lyft drivers and all that probably made a decent amount of dollars last night.
I'd hope so.
And this week in Las Vegas. That was, the season comes to an end. Next up, well, it's February. Pitch and catchers report in a couple of days. Nick Gordon got traded.
How about that?
Twins got a left-handed pitcher. They can kind of tuck next to Caleb Thielbar and Cody Funderburk there in the bullpen. So Nicky gone.
Yeah, so I'm glad he didn't come to the Twins Caravan. We got Gardy because people had Twins autograph stuff of Nick Gordon. That would be
it. Would be
yeah. I mean,
it'd be history.
So is this
stuff.
every February? We just expect a trade with the Marlins. That kind of what we're expecting
right.
for it.
That's right. They seem to be working
usual suspects with them and the Reds,
like trade partners, pretty well. That's right. Our dear friend CC, back to the football game, had a nice message in here today too about kicking and the game and all that. I guess we didn't bring up the missed extra point.
Huge.
But
do you think? Chris. Let me think about that. Do you think that the Chiefs, they would have had to go for a touchdown? I think there's a good possibility that we're saying, they were more aggressive. They get the win. They going for the touchdown anyway. You know what I'm getting at?
Yep, gotcha.
I mean, just with the way they are, the moxie that they have. I mean, we'll never know, but I would not rule that out that they would have found a way. But It was very Viking-like, miss an extra point. And
it was just enough to – but the kicking was real. Can I tell you how many records fell?
How about that, two in the same game?
How many records – I got a list here of records that fell in yesterday's
Unreal.
game. I mean, it was unbelievable. Most field goals made in a career, Harrison Bucker, new record, 9. Longest field goal made, 57 yards, Harrison Bucker, new record. Most 50-yard field goals made in the game in the Super Bowl, 2, Jake Moody, highest average punting. The special teams on this game was also
huge,
massive. 50.8 the average punting yards yesterday in that game. I know it's not sexy stat, but this was a record. Most field goals made, both teams, 7. Highest average punting team, 50.8. Casey, fewest kickoff returns, both teams, 0. Fewest kickoff return yards, both teams, 0. Those were the records that were that were set in 58. Kickoff return yards are, I don't know if that even, they're going to put an asterisk there because nobody returns. Everything's booming.
That is a weird part of the game now, isn't it? That a kickoff is just pretty much we accept that it's at the 25 now. It's weird.
We are stepping into a large week. The Wild and the Wolves are out west, so
take a nap. 8:45. We got the Wild tonight against the Stanley Cup champs.
Rest today. And then go on. Yeah, in fact, the Wolves will just turn around and play again tomorrow night, as the Wolves are in Portland, Derek, on tomorrow. So that's another 9 tip-off. We've got
Clippers tonight, right?
Clippers tonight. Good stuff right there. The Clippers have. Here's a meshing of great talent that the Clippers have. So if you think it wouldn't work with all the different personalities and all there's only one ball. Clippers find a way to get that done. College basketball, not tonight. Tomorrow, the Cobbers are in action Wednesday. The Bison and North Dakota. This week, it's the Oral Roberts Denver matchup. So
wait, we just had that. Can I just throw out there, I tried to get in March Madness mode yesterday by watching the Gophers at Carver Hawkeye Arena.
Forgot about that. What was the lead? 20
points.
20 change?
And young Mr. Garcia, I know that you got hit where men don't normally want to get hit, but
right.
Man, the wheels just came off once he was out. It was crazy. So that was a tough one to watch them get away. But that was so Minnesota sports fan like there. So
well, watching that Nebraska-Iowa women's game, if you
they blew it
that
too.
was pretty.
They had the Hawkeyes had it too, and
boy, they love it. Lincoln is just insane for its hoop and volleyball now. That's good. All right, stick around. Common Man is coming up next, and Bumper to Bumper with Dan Barrero and JG. Right here on 740 The Fan, KNFL and 107.3 FM.